Hi everybody, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to be continuing our look at Flames of War, the new late war releases. This time we're looking at the Hit the Beach starter box. This is billed as the complete World War II starter set. Hit the Beach is, well, if you saw my last video, I looked at Fury, which was the $35 kind of introduction to Flames of War. This is the next step up. This is a $50 box set, which I think is pretty darn amazing. So they've had other box sets in different versions, Open Fire, I think that's what it was called, with varying degrees of success. Like the first one had terrible models in it. They weren't the resin models, they were some horrible plastic ones. There were some that were resin, but not what we were used to. They were total resin, not the metal and resin. So there have been several versions of this box set out that Battlefront, they didn't cut the corners, but the contents weren't the product you'd buy in the more expensive Platoon box sets and stuff like that. This is different because the models in this set are the same models you buy in the Platoon boxes and the Army box sets, which immediately, for me anyway, is much more attractive. So obviously we've got this looks like Hit the Beach. We were talking about Normandy here. Let's flip it over and look at what we got on the back. So again, $50, we're talking about, it bills it as 2 complete forces. So for the Americans, you're rocking a Sherman company, and that's a Sherman HQ and 2 Sherman platoons for a total of 8 tanks. Plus in support you've got a platoon of American airborne, so parachute rifle platoon. So a pretty decent force. I mean, speaking as an American, primarily an American player, a Sherman company is awesome. It's really good. Then as the Germans, they have, looks like a Panzer Grenadier platoon. So they're an infantry based company with tank support, as opposed to the Americans being a tank company with some infantry support. They have 2 Panzer Grenadier platoons. The HQ in support, they also have 2 7.5mm anti-tank guns, which are hiding back here in the picture. You can barely see them. And 3 Panzer IV tanks. I think the last set, these were Stugs, and I think the Americans were British. Then you have a rule book, quick start guide, a V1 flying bomb terrain piece, which is kind of cool, 16 unit cards and 20 dice. Alright, let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. Alright, opening up the box, I pulled out the models. We'll take a look at that last, but we do get a nice stack of unit cards. I think unit cards are a great addition. I'm not necessarily sold on the Army cards they have. I don't know what the official name is for those, but I love having a card for each unit. And you can see there is, the regular Sherman, the HQ Sherman, the 76 Sherman, 1 card for each platoon, movement orders, just a reference card, the German cards. It's all very nice, great quality, nice thick cards, glossy, again, not great for a YouTuber with my lights, but they look nice. They're glossy, they're not going to hold anything. You got a bag of dice again. These are probably just going to go into the generic dice bin at home. I don't really use these. I'm a dice elitist. I like to have themed dice when possible. But pretty cool if you're new. Then we have a quick start guide. I think the same exact one that was in the Fury box set. And this is quick start with just, oh no, we've got infantry on the back here too. Cool. Then we have the actual rule book itself. I took it out of its little Ziploc bag. Always a fantastic quality with their rule books. I'm always impressed with their presentation. And then you've got a nice big instruction manual on how to assemble all the good stuff, or you could use it as a placemat, I guess. I like that they do this here. They label these guys on the sprue now, so you can actually know, parachute rifle platoon, you're going to have an officer, a radio operator, and NCO, and then you've got an NCO rifleman, and so on. So it tells you exactly what figures to put on each stand, so you're no longer guessing, well, which guy on this sprue is the, the platoon commander. Then on the back you have the same thing for the Germans, assembling the Panzer IV, the 7.5, how to do the infantry. It's all very cool. Alright, so we've got that stuff out of the way. Now let's take a look at the models. Okay, so this is the Sherman component of the box set. As you can tell, there's a lot of plastic in this box. There are 8 of the base model Sherman M4A1s with the 75mm gun. So you get 8 of those, which is a pretty good start to a company. And then you've got 3 of the 76mm upgrade sprues. So it has a different top and a different turret. So you can upgrade up to 3 of those. So the intention here in this set is you have a platoon of, a HQ platoon of 2 tanks, 1 platoon with 75mm guns, and 1 platoon of 3 with 76mm guns. And that's kind of the concept. Now this actually would scale up well with the Fury box set as well, because the Fury box set you could add 1 more Sherman 75, 1 more Sherman 76. I personally like to run my Shermans and platoons of at least 4. 3, I think they're too easy to destroy, and obviously when you get too low, there's a chance they're going to run away. So that's a thought as well. You could add some of the Fury contents in here. Okay, so that's the Shermans. Okay, next we have 3 of the Panzer IV sprues. So each one of these is a Panzer IV tank. I didn't look at Panzer IVs, there weren't any in Fury, so we'll take a closer look at them here. You do get a lot of pieces parts. Again, you're not going to use everything here when you build this tank. For example, it's got 2 sets of side Schurzhen. One is kind of factory fresh, and the other one's a little skiwampus there to give you kind of a more battle-worn look. Detail on the treads, detail on the tank deck. Really good stuff. This one is a little bit more fiddly to build than Sherman's, just because you have these Schurzhen panels you need to attach to the tank on the side. So there's a few more pieces, but really it's not hard at all. And it's kind of cool, you get 3 of those, which makes a nice little decent platoon. Again, I'd prefer to run them in 4s, but hey, what are you going to do? Next up we have the Buzz Bomb objective and 2 of the PaK 40, the 7.5 anti-tank guns. You can see the detail on those. Great detail on the gun. The wheels, gun shield, and then we have the Buzz Bomb itself. I think this was in the last set. Now this is pretty big, so I don't think it actually fits on a normal Flames of War objective, unless you do some finagling, but still pretty cool. Here are the infantry in the set. I've got a bag of all the bases. These are the cool ones that actually have the recesses for the figures. So you put them in the right spot, and then they're still flush with the base. And then you've got these. Now I know Battlefront has over the years experimented with different manufacturing methods for their infantry. Originally, I think it was all metal infantry, and some great iconic sculpts in that range. I loved the Airborne, particularly the United States Airborne. But there's 2 sprues, so you're going to have your Germans and your US Paras on here. And let's just get close here, see if we can get some of this nice detail on camera. So these are obviously Germans. A nice variety of poses. And you can see the labels down here, like Very cool. These are not duplicate frames. Some more detail. Very cool. And then you've got just kind of, I guess, a half sprue of crew for your tanks. So not quite as many crew as came in Fury, but hey. Alright, so that's looking at the infantry. These, by the way, are, I got sidetracked there, these, by the way, are hard plastic. So they're not that soft plastic that Battlefront kind of experimented with. I don't even know if they make that soft plastic anymore. But I do like this hard plastic. It's got nice detail, nice and crisp. We're going to have fun painting those up. So, should you hit the beach? Well, again, it's kind of up in the air. If you're already a Flames of War player and you've gone through version 2, version 3, you probably have all this stuff already. So, for a new player, this is going to have a lot more, a lot more advantage to you. Existing players, again, you probably have enough unless you don't collect Germans or Americans. Then it's a good starting spot. But if you want to collect an American tank company, or you want to collect a German infantry company, this is a great starter set for you. So it does have some application there. At $50, that's really nice. I mean, a box of 5 Shermans, plastic Shermans, I think is like almost 40 or something along that just by itself. So this is a great deal here for anybody. Now, should you invest in this? I'm going to say yeah, for new players particularly. Think about 2 people trying to get into Flames of War, checking it out. It's you buy this and you split it down the middle. That's $25 each. That's really a nice a nice deal. And for those $25, each one of those guys has a complete army that they can add on to. Now, you're probably going to want to add on pretty quick. For example, you've got a tank company with some infantry support. You might want some mortars, some artillery, maybe to add some smoke, or maybe some airplanes. With the Germans, maybe you're going to want to add some heavier tanks, or some mortars or artillery as well. So, you have a lot of options to grow your collection. All of the models in here, again, are the most recent releases, so they're high quality, they're really nice, they're fun to put together. I don't have any complaints about them. Version 4 itself is a lot of fun. I think it's an improvement over version 3, and I never thought I would say that before, but the actual rules are a lot of fun and for the most part intuitive. No one's going to tell you Flames of War is the most historically accurate battlefield simulator, but it's never been plugged that way. It's more like the game of the movie of World War II. And that's what you get. So you can have little tiny miniature heroics on your battlefield. So there you go. That's a look at Hit the Beach. As always, please let us know what you think down in the comments below. We always appreciate hearing back from you guys. Also, check us out on Facebook at All Miniatures Great and Small. We kind of keep up to date, or try to, and let you know what we're up to, so you can kind of follow us there. And then, as always, we appreciate you watching, and keep on wargaming.